This is getting weirder as the days go on. I remember a few days ago, or maybe last week, I made a post on Twitter and was basically saying how it seems like the agendas are literally rolling themselves out at full force right now, like at a speed that we have never seen before. Because now they're coming like one behind the other. And I told people that it would steamroll eventually. There's always a domino effect to something. And here we are. So today I'm going to be talking about this place called Grace Church School in New York, where, yes, we are back in New York, where they said that they are encouraging kids to stop using words like mom and dad in inclusive language guide. And I already read through the article, and I'm not going to say what I kind of figured out was not going to be mentioned in this article until I get through this article, because I want y'all to hear everything that this article contains about what they're trying to do and how I believe that this is going to be something that's going to be spread over various other places outside of New York. A Manhattan private school aiming to use more inclusive language is encouraging its students to stop using the terms mom, dad, and parents because the words make assumptions about kids' home lives. The Grace Church School in NoHo, which offers academic courses for junior kindergarten through 12th grade, issued a 12-page guide to students and staff explaining the school's mission of inclusivity. The detailed guide recommends using the terms grown-ups, folks, family, or guardians as alternatives to mom, dad, and parents. So they literally are rewiring these kids to use other terms around their parents. Something that they don't use often. But what did I tell you? They start off with the kids because they're easier to program. They easily digest. They can't do that on an adult or even a teenager. It's hard to change them, but they can get a child early on. It goes on to say it also suggests caregiver instead of nanny or babysitter. Families are formed and structured in many ways. At Grace Church School, we use inclusive language that reflects this diversity. It's important to refrain from making assumptions about who kids live with, who cares for them, whether they sleep in the same place every night, whether they see their parents, etc., the guide reads. The document also states how to use appropriate terms relating to gender, sexual orientation, race, and ethnicity. Instead of asking a person, who are you? It's like, what are you? Where are you from? The query should be, what is your cultural or ethnic background? Where are your ancestors or is your family from, according to the Grace Language Guide? The school defended the guide, telling City Journal that its goal is to promote a sense of belonging for all of our students. Grace is an Episcopal school. As part of our Episcopal identity, we recognize the dignity and worth common of humanity, the Reverend Robert Penoyer, assistant head of school, said in a statement to the outlet. One thing I noticed in this article is that not one time did they mention that they needed consent from their parents to engage with this new guide. They just gave it to the kids. And who's to say that the kids are going to take this guide and give it to their parents? They didn't even tell them, oh, we're giving you this guide. Make sure you have your guardian. Because, that's the new language that they want them to use. This new indoctrination. And have your guardian sign off on it. Because why go to the parent? Because we know the parent probably has something to say. So we're just going to tell give it to the kids and, we'll indoctrinate them the way we want to. Remember, I just did a story coming out of New York where they want to implement mandatory sex ed for kindergarten students and talk about gender identity and all this other extracurricular stuff. And now you have this. This literally comes after, on the heels, literally, of that story I just did. Like, these are not that far apart as far as timeline. They literally probably came out within the same week. Because this article was posted on March 10th. It is currently March 12th. I uploaded that video about the lawmaker in New York with the sex ed, I want to say on the 10th, which was the same day this article came out, but that one that I uploaded on the 10th, that article came out a couple of days before that, and it's in the same state. So like I said, it's literally rolling itself out. And then, of course, I just did the story about Mr. Potato Head, how they said, oh, we don't want to call it Mr. anymore because we want to make it inclusive, so we're just going to call it Potato Head. The thing is, you got to question, is it about being inclusive, or are you pushing something else? I'm leaning more toward the latter, because all the stuff that they keep talking about in some of these articles, I remember seeing growing up. Like, maybe you had a single parent or what have you, whatever the case may be. But not once did they say, call your parent guardian, or don't call them mom, or don't call them dad. Shoot, even people who have two parents of the same sex still call them, if there's a man, two men, they still call them dad. And if it's two women, they call them mom. So who are they really trying to appease here? And like I said, this is all a part of the agenda. You thought that it was going to just end when 44 signed off on that bill for the academy back in 2015? Oh no, that was just the beginning. Now they are in go mode. Full steam ahead. And this is still light work compared to what I'm sure they got cooking at the moment in their kitchen. And that's the scary part, because this right here is absolutely ridiculous. You want to have and tell these kids to not call their parents mom or dad, which is like the go-to title that they usually give to their parents. You just want them to call them. And I don't even think they said call them parent. They said use terms like grown-ups, folks, family, or guardians. Don't even call them mom, dad, or parents. So you can't even call them parents. You said, so imagine you're a child. And you, instead of calling your mom and dad parent, mom or dad, and you go and say, hey, grown up, hey, folks, hey, family, hey, guardians. Do you hear how ridiculous that sounds? Those aren't titles you give to your parents. That's something you would give to somebody else. And even then, I wouldn't even give them that title. Now, if I use the term grown up, I wouldn't even use that really right now at my age. That's more something for kids. But look at who look at who they're gearing this towards children. Like, even as I wouldn't even use that for a complete stranger. Hey, grown up. What? Folks, family. And I think there's some other stuff in here too that they're trying to, oh yeah, when it says, instead of asking a person, what are you, where are you from? It should be, what is your cultural, ethnic background? I'm telling you, an elementary school level kid is not about to sit there all day and ask that question. They just going to straight up ask you, where are you from? And my thing is this. What's going to happen to the child that goes against that? Or if they say the wrong thing? That's what I'd like to know. And the glaring thing that this is a part of the agenda is the statement that reads, the document also states how to use appropriate terms relating to gender, sexual orientation, race, and ethnicity. That just spells out to me they are trying to rework and rewire these kids' minds and mold them into the way they want them to be. And the thing is, you're talking about a small group of kids versus a vast, very large world that is not exposed to something like this and probably would not be, because they already know what it is to say when it comes to something like this. You ever heard the term, if it's not broke, don't fix it? Here they are breaking shit that does not need to be tampered with. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the end game is going to be, but I'm here to say that it's going to be a very eerie one. Like I said, this is just the beginning. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure that you text the number that is pinned down in the comments below so you can receive notifications every time I upload a new video.